What's up, grinders? Welcome to NBA Crunch Time. I'm your host today, TJ Zwarich, and I am joined by one of the sharpest minds in the biz. Hanging out with me today is Will Priester, the Chief. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing? Glad to come on and talk a little NBA DFS with the people on a Saturday. Myself and TJ got a chance to participate in the Blitz show this week. Get to hang out with my good friend again for some Sunday football. Not Sunday football, excuse me, Saturday NBA. My goodness. And then tomorrow, TJ, if I'm not mistaken, you and I will be on the ones and twos together. You reunited, and it feels so good. We will be on for Crunch Time and the Showdown slate. So pretty excited. Exciting weekend of DFS. And hopefully, TJ, we can put some money in these people's pockets starting tonight.
That is the goal, and it's been a long day. I need to siphon some of that energy off of you and share some of it with me. Get me back amped up. Let me get going a little bit because it's been show number 4 today. So we're starting to lose steam a little bit, but I got enough left in the tank for the people for tonight's NBA slate. We got a nice 8-gamer on FanDuel and DraftKings, and I think we got most of the injury news we're waiting on. Alperen Şengün still listed as questionable, and Giannis and Giddey. Giannis, I think we're expected to play. It's supposed to be his first game back today. Giddey and Şengün more as true pure questionables. I think I am kind of assuming all of them play. I don't know that by any means. I could absolutely be wrong and have to adjust some things, but as it stands right now, I'm playing this out as if all of those guys are going to be playing. And of course, we will be taking you up to lock, and we'll have that news for you for at least some of it, I think. But I guess these games aren't until 8 o'clock. And so there's a good chance we don't get the Şengün news or the Giddey news before we hit lock here. So you're going to have to stay on top of it for Twitter and on or wherever you get your notifications so that you can get your injury news and make some adjustments for those guys. But in the meantime, smash that like button. If you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on all of tomorrow's football shows. We got 9:30 a.m. Eastern, Tim, Bobby Dean for the People Show. We got GPP Final Takes with Eric, Vanek, and Neil, followed by, like Chief mentioned, myself and Chief leading you all the way up to lock for NFL Crunch Time. Then, of course, we'll be back in the evening for some more pre-lock. And with all the sports, all the goodness, it's a great time to check out Pick Labs. It's the newest feature that lets you scan the best player prop and pick 'em bets in seconds. Everything's broken down for you, from edges and win rates to value. It's a clean board showing which plays actually stand out across sportsbooks and sites like Underdog and Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Pick Labs builds the slip and sends it straight to the book of your choice. Right now, you can try Pick Labs completely free on RotoGrinders through December 28th. Just visit rotogrinders.com/picklabs. Try it once, and you'll be wondering how this wasn't a thing already. We will go DraftKings. We will go FanDuel position by position through all of it. Then we will take your questions. We'll go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord first, YouTube second. YouTube, smash the like button for us. Chief, before we start going position by position, what's your overview on today's slate? How are you planning on attacking it? How many lineups you playing? And what's your general overview?
Just going to be single entry for me while I'm on the break. Football, I will be going match multi-entry tomorrow. I'm trying to attack this slate with some things that are obvious, TJ. So here's some of the things that are obvious. Do the Utah Jazz give up a lot of fantasy points? Yes. Do we need to be playing the Spurs against the Utah Jazz? Yes, we do. Is everybody else going to be doing that? Yes, they are. How can we differentiate? We'll talk about it. All right. The Knicks and the Hawks have the same game total as the Jazz and the Spurs. Do we need to be playing part of the Knicks and Hawks game? Yes. Will everybody else be playing the Knicks and the Hawks? Not as much as the Jazz and the Spurs. Is that a way to differentiate? Yes, it is. Right? So I think that's kind of my overview for the slate. And then, are there a couple value pieces here and there that you may want to get involved in? Maybe so, TJ. But generally speaking, I'm attacking this slate through game totals that I think are really going to get there, and then finding ways to differentiate around them. We'll talk about some of those pieces, and it will be hopefully a great day, a beautiful day in Zamunda. Ultimate Mute.
We did just get some Knicks news right before we started here, with McBride out for them today. So that boosts up guys like Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, makes both of them viable today. Probably setting a rule on those two that I would want to play a max one of both of them. But I was just a little interested in that Knicks and Atlanta game before, but that definitely does boost things up for me quite a fair bit, getting access to those cheapies there. Let's start diving into this. Let's go position by position. We will start things up on DraftKings. Then we will go FanDuel. Point guard position, Will, who do you like today?
Oh, TJ, I think there's a fair amount to like. So what I did today, I don't do this every day, but man, Dylan Harper's popping real hard, TJ. Now, you can get him at shooting guard as well. He's popping real hard tonight against the Spurs, along with Isaiah Collier popping against the Harper's popping against the Jazz. Collier's popping against the Spurs in terms of just cheap guys. So those are some guys that I like. I don't mind overpaying a little bit for Jalen Brunson at 9,300, where he's going to be facing Atlanta. Really like him. I'm perfectly fine if you want to get to Jamal Murray at 8,500. Jamal Murray's secretly been like kind of crushing DFS over this stretch, but I don't think as many people have been paying attention. Him and Jokic, it's him and Jokic all the way. If you look all the way up top, TJ, you've got Giddey here with the Q tag. You've got Trae Young against the Knicks. Like, you've got Kevin Porter Jr. I'm not sure I'm as interested in those guys. I do like Jalen Brunson quite a bit. I do like Jamal Murray quite a bit. I'm okay with Anthony Black on the other side, but Dylan Harper is at the top of my list in terms of value at point guard position, along with Isaiah Collier. Those guys look really good in the projections in lineup HQ. And then when we talk about just the game in general, I know I mentioned Trae Young. I don't mind Trae in that same game. I don't mind a Keontae George. I don't mind a Castle. Once again, not Castle. We'll be going to shooting guard talking about him. Never mind. We're going to shooting guard talking about him. But those guys in those two games, I don't mind them. I'm willing to overspend a little bit to see if I can catch some upside. Similar, TJ, to back in the day when the Hornets were really, really bad and they gave up a lot of rebounds, and they would end up playing the Washington Wizards or one of these other high-paced teams. I just stacked those games because the pieces weren't overly expensive. And if the games really got into a shootout, you'd be sitting pretty at the end of the night.
I saw Hoosiers hang banners in chat saying his current Yahoo build has 3 point guards. It's absolutely one of those days today at the point guard position where we got value, we got spend ups. Definitely makes sense to jam in on any site you're playing as many point guards as you possibly can. I'm with you on the top two, Collier and Harper. I got both of them in at least 50% of my lineups tonight. I made a rule with both of those sets of guards for both of those teams. Collier and Bryce Sensabaugh, I want one of them in every single one of my lineups as a value salary saver. And then Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell. I said I want 1 to 2 of them in every single one of my lineups today. So I'm with you. I'm going to be absolutely loading up on that game. Jalen Brunson's going to be my next highest owned. I have about 20% of him. Nobody else above 10%, just because I'm loading up so heavily on those 3 players. I'm going to have 10% Nembhard, 10% Keontae George, 10% Murray, Gillespie, Tyler Kolek. And then one guy I really like as like a super low-owned large field GPP salary saver today, Bones Highland. Bones Highland, I think, is really interesting. He's projected for 19 minutes, which he's a good enough fantasy point per minute producer. If that's all he plays, I don't think he'll burn your lineup. I think he gets you somewhere probably around 20 fantasy points. He's had at least 25 fantasy points in 5 of his last 6 games, and they face Brooklyn tonight, where they're 12.5-point favorites, or at least that's what it was last time I looked. I'm not sure the exact line now. If this turns into a blowout, we get 26, 27, 28 minutes for Bones Highland against a weak Brooklyn defense, I think he could have a really big performance at 1%, less than 1% ownership today. So that's another guy that I wanted to throw out there. Shooting guard today, Will. Obviously, we can play Dylan Harper here as well. We talked about Stephon Castle. I'm also getting to a ton of Sensabaugh. And then there's some Heat guys that I really like as well. What are you doing today at shooting guard?
Yeah, shooting guard is interesting as well because, I mean, you got Castle there. You got Harper, who you can also play there. When you look at the top, you've got Ed Edwards against Brooklyn if you want to go down that path. You've got Donovan Mitchell against Houston if you want to go down that path. Those are the expensive guys. I'm not thrilled about Mitchell today going against Houston. Houston's a bit tough. Excuse my TJ, please forgive me. I'm probably way more interested in Edwards at the top if I'm going to go all the way up. But in this range of the 8K range, I think I'm going to side with Devin Booker over Durant if I had to choose between those two. But obviously, Castle against Utah is a premier play tonight. So like him quite a bit. I don't mind Norman Powell at 6,800 TJ. I'm really shocked that he hasn't picked up as much steam or that we don't have any tags on him. I think we might have some tags on Norman Powell. But he's the guy that I'm interested in. Definitely think he could put together a quality performance tonight. You got Hawkins. So these are the Miami guys that are also going to be creeping in there, TJ. But I kind of like these guys. Wiggins and Powell are two goes, and Wiggins at power forward. But I'm just talking in general about the Miami guys. But definitely a sprinkle of Hawkins and Norman Powell. I think those are great plays.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have two Miami players in every lineup I throw out there today. Definitely at least one, which will be the case for San Antonio and Utah also. But Miami, I absolutely love this spot for them. Nice matchup, missing a bunch of guys. Powell, Hawkins, Wiggins, that trio that you talked about, I made a rule with them as well. 1 to 2 of them in every one of my lineups. And then Khalil Ware is actually my highest owned play on the entire slate. So I'm a very, very big fan of these Heat players today. I have about 40% Norman Powell. So Harper, Sensabaugh, Castle, Powell. That's most of my shooting guard position. And then the next tier is Pele Larson, Jaime Jaquez, and Champagnie for San Antonio is my next tier of guys all around 20%. Then it's, again, nobody else more than 10. I don't mind Gillespie, but there's just so many other guys I like more. Bryce McGowan's is somebody I don't hate the idea of taking a shot on. I played him 2 nights ago at like 1% ownership, and he had a really huge game. I think he is viable if you want to just full on punt the position. I mentioned Bones, who you can play here. And then if you want to spend up to Desmond Bane, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, totally nothing wrong with that today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small forward spot, Will. Two of the guys that we talked about, Sensabaugh, Powell, I guess 3 because you throw in, or 4 because we throw in Hawkins, Larson, Champagnie as well. A lot of these guys have shooting guard, small forward eligibility, but who else do you like at small forward today?
Yeah, so up top at small forward, obviously you started with Kevin Durant, you started with Michael Porter Jr. The question is, do you want to play these guys? I'm not as thrilled about it, TJ, with those two today. Obviously, back to Powell. I think Powell's probably my favorite if I had to just choose one, even though we can play him at the shooting guard position as well. I'm okay with Devin Vassell. Obviously, I'm okay with Hawkins. You start getting to some of these cheaper guys like Mr. Champagnie from San Antonio. I'm okay with him. Talked about Sensabaugh, obviously Larson. Okay with him. This is an interesting one, TJ, because this guy he plays enough minutes, but I feel like the projection is always wrong with him. That's Royce O'Neal. He's more like a lightning in the bottle play. Like sometimes he gets 30, but most of the time he's like 20, So
it depends on those threes, right? Like if he gets hot, you can have a stealing game. Otherwise, you're not getting much.
Yeah. So even though his projection looks good, I'm just not thrilled about Royce O'Neal. But I think Vassell is probably obviously on the list. This Utah game, and I can't say enough about how much of an impact I think playing against this team has had for DFS production this year. And you can just find the right ways to attack those games, TJ, you're typically going to come out okay.
Agreed there. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it might have been an underdog tweet or something I saw that it was like 8 straight games or something like that. The Jazz have allowed at least 125 points to their opponents. Just some all-time historically bad defense being played by Utah right now. I am with you for a lot of those guys. I like Sensabaugh, I like Powell, Pelly Larson, Hawkes, Vassell, Champagny. One other guy I really like today is Tari Eason. I'm not getting to a ton of Houston, but that's one of those that I look at and say, hey, if Şengün plays, Eason still looks good. Eason's projecting really well right now. If Şengün's out, I think Eason becomes one of the better value plays on the entire slate. And so I do really like him for tournaments today. We also did just get some news that Josh Giddey is in, so we don't have to worry about that from Chicago. I think that makes Chicago look pretty uninteresting. Like Giddey is fine, but outside of that, I don't have a ton of interest in getting to anybody from Chicago today. A couple guys I'm trying in large field stuff. I have a little Clarkson, little Peyton Watson. I do have a touch of these Indiana guys just because it actually is a really good matchup going up against Miami. And so I do have a little bit of Jarris Walker. I have a little bit of Benedict Mathurin. Mathurin's been so bad lately, but this is a matchup we like targeting against Miami, and so I mix them into a little bit. And then just a touch of Tim Hardaway, touch of Sam Merrill, under 5% of both of those guys today. Power forward today. This is another position where I'm getting a lot of heat. And bam, Alperen Şengün just got ruled out. So time to adjust some lineups because I was playing for him to be in. But now we're going to have Steven Adams looking like a really strong value play. We'll see when the projections update, but I would bet Capella is somebody that looks decent now as a backup to Steven Adams. Not two guys that I would want to play together, but two guys that definitely are going to pop in projections now, I think. And previously, who we talked about, Tari Eason, I think he's going to look really good. Amen Thompson probably gets a bump. Jabari
We
Smith
probably get a little Kevin
bump.
Durant bump as well, I would assume.
Yeah.
A slight Kevin Durant bump. I'm still not thrilled about KD for what it's worth, but
Houston definitely looking like a much more exciting team now with that news, but we will go back to that once we get the projection update. Power forward position, who do you like today on DraftKings?
Well, TJ, I mean, I was probably going to get to some Tari Eason anyway, and now I'm definitely going to get to some Tari Eason, Andrew Wiggins. Obviously, those guys in terms of point per dollar, I think are really good. TJ, here's the deal, though. What are we going to do with Jalen Johnson, who's just continuing to smash night in and night out? Tonight he gets a matchup with the Knicks. Should be a competitive game. I think people are going to maybe not play as much Jalen Johnson tonight, TJ. I think that could be a mistake. I like him quite a bit. I don't hate Pascal Siakam. Lauri Markkanen, believe it or not, had a really nice game and has strung together a couple performances, put up 72 fantasy points against the Dallas Mavericks. What I like about it, TJ, is he's playing the minutes. Now, he is on a back-to-back tonight, and he played 38 minutes yesterday. So I have to assume maybe the legs are a little bit tired, but the point is the minutes are there. If you think this game is competitive, don't rule out guys like him on the other side. I definitely think this is a spot where if the game is close enough, it could be very competitive.
I like that call quite a bit. I am bumping things up to make sure I get at least like 30-40% Tari Eason now. And then the rest of this, I'm going to wait till we get that update before I adjust any of my exposures and rebuild. But I expect to get some more Kevin Durant now. I expect to get some more Amen Thompson now. Expect to get some more Jabari Smith now. And then I'm very looking forward to seeing how this Adams and Capella stuff shakes out, because I think I'm going to assume Steven Adams definitely looking like a cash game play now. Other power forwards I really like today. Nikola Jovic is a cheapie that I'm taking a lot of shots on for Miami. 21 minutes last game, 32 games ago when they were missing some guys, missing a bunch of players again tonight. Nikola Jovic, I think, is a good spot because he's kind of the only other guy they can throw out there at the center position. Not that they want to play him there, but with Bam out, because which is one of the reasons I love Khalil Ware as well. Andrew Wiggins is way too cheap for this role, so I'm getting to a ton of Jovic, ton of Wiggins. I love the Jalen Johnson call. I want to play a ton of him tonight. I was getting to a fair amount of Şengün. That's obviously not going to be the case anymore. And that 8K tier is so strong too. Like a guy I was looking at earlier was Randall, but I ended up having to X him out because I like Siakam better than Randall. I like Markkanen better than Randall. I like Banchero better than Randall. And so all three of those guys, Siakam, Banchero, I can never remember which one it is, and Siakam, I think all look really, really good today. Center position, let me do a refresh here, see if we did just get, I saw a bunch of players got added to the pool and some got removed, so I believe we may have just gotten a Houston update, and we did. Steven Adams now projected for 28 minutes, over 26 fantasy points. Capella not projecting that well, but looking like a viable pivot off of what I assume will be a chalky Adams now. Eason projecting to be one of the best values on the slate. Jabari Smith looks fine. Nothing spectacular, but fine. And Amen Thompson and Kevin Durant, both positive RG values now, up over 2. Not quite as high as Adams or Eason, but still looking very good as well. Center position, who do you like here? And note for those watching, SimLabs hasn't updated yet, so Steven Adams would be near the top of this list also.
Well, TJ, I think it depends on how you want to build your lineups, but I'm always thrilled about cheap centers. And so I'm not saying you have to start with Steven Adams, TJ. That is not what we're saying here. I don't want anybody to get it confused, but I do think, he's going to be, a very viable play now. I mean, he's 3,700. We've got him projected for around 28 minutes, TJ, around 26 fantasy points. I think that's fantastic. If not, I do think Mr. Ware against Indiana, TJ, really, really solid play tonight. We know for sure he's going to get his minutes. I'm perfectly fine with some Jokic against Orlando. I know Jokic is expensive, but TJ, I think we can get to him. We put the right pieces together. Can. Yeah, so I don't want to overlook one of the best plays on the slate. In a game against Orlando that I'm hoping he should be able to get his full complement of minutes. I think this is a great spot for him, just generally speaking. Perfectly okay also with Karl Anthony Towns against Atlanta. 8,800. Don't forget about that game. I know we've kind of talked about it, TJ, but that's another really good game that could pay off tremendous dividends in the end. And then everybody else, I think, is just kind of, I don't want to call them stragglers, TJ, but would just be a part of the stack. So at the top for me is Jokic at 12.5. I'm starting to feel like TJ, his ownership may not get as much ownership tonight, but I don't mind running Jokic and then running to Adams. Or Jokic and Ware and foregoing Adams, which if I play Jokic, I probably won't forego Adams because Adams is going to help unlock that at 3,700. But just talking through it, Jokic is my top play, and because of Adams. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we just have so much value on this slate that it does make Jokic very easy to get to. Mm-hmm. Where Jokic and Adams, I think, are the three in a single entry setting that I'm looking at those guys and going, I want two of them. Either the double spend up with Ware and Jokic or going down to a Steven Adams, but those would be the three that I think I would be looking at in that kind of setting. I see somebody bringing up a Derek Queen birthday narrative in chat, asking about Mark Williams as a potential option. Both of those guys, as somebody who's playing 150 lineups tonight, very much guys I'm interested in sprinkling in. I have 2% Derek Queen, 7% Mark Williams. So, and to throw a wrench into things as well, we just got Victor Wembanyama will be in the starting lineup. And so if you're telling me I can get 30 plus minutes of Victor Wembanyama, now I don't know that. We don't know that will be the case. But certainly positive with Wemby back in the starting lineup, we could see him getting over 30 minutes. And he's priced like a guy like a Wembanyama playing 25, 28 minutes right now. We get a minutes bump for him. All of a sudden, I think he becomes very viable here as well. If I adjust him to 30 minutes, he projects for 53 fantasy points and looks like he's almost as one of the better spend ups on the slate.
Yep.
This is exciting. This is really exciting. I'm going to play a bunch of Wemby now, too.
Oh, gosh, guys. Got just a wealth of riches tonight.
Against Utah?
Listen, that's gonna make me change my Jokic shares. Like I was fully on board with TJ. I was fully on board with borderline saying, okay, Jokic is my guy. But listen, if Victor Wembanyama is getting 32 minutes against this team, TJ, all minutes are not
That'd be
created
crazy.
equal.
I'm gonna be interested to see where we project him. I'm gonna bet we project him if we don't get any type of update at about like 28, which I don't think he's gonna be super slate breaking projection at that price. I still don't know if you're looking at him as a cash game option because unless it says like Victor Wembanyama will be limited to 32 minutes. It says 32, like, yeah, you all of a sudden he is a cash game play at 10K. But if we don't get that update and he's projected in like the 28 range, we will see. But I'm certainly going to jam him in for tournaments. Like, I'm going to play a lot of Wemby at 10K on DraftKings and tournaments.
Yeah, I'm perfectly all right with that. Team jam him in, TJ. I like it.
Alan in chat saying Wemby minutes now over or under 28 minutes. I think that's the number. Like, I think 28 is the over under. And that would be my exact guess is 28. I guess if I'm going to take an over under on one of those sides, I would take the over, but I still think it's under 30. I think 28, 29, 30 is where he lands. How about you?
I think I'm guessing 30, but you get what I'm saying? Like that's I think 30 may be the hard cap, but TJ, the DFS player me is hoping that it's 32.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I'm gonna be loading up on him in tournaments now. In my most recent build, I just got about 35% Wemby, and so this is gonna be fun. It may go poorly, but I love things like this where it's like, let's take Utah. A stand. We don't know how it's gonna go, but let's take a stand. And that got me very excited to play some Victor Wembanyama tonight. Let me go through another build here as we transition over to FanDuel. I haven't looked at his Wemby's price on FanDuel, but I'm interested to see where it goes over there. Mr. Richard saying the projection just got changed to Wemby for 27 minutes. So if that is something that holds for the next 30 minutes here until lock a 27-minute projection, definitely not something you're looking at in cash. Steven Adams and Khalil Ware probably in that setting. But for large field tournaments, Victor Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic looking like really, really good plays. Just so no one's confused, I see Steve-O in chat saying Utah is going to have to keep it close with probably no George. Keontae George is in. We don't got to worry about no George. Keontae George is playing. But let's go to FanDuel point guard here, Will. We got two Spurs projecting for very, very high optimal rates with Harper and Stephon Castle, who does have the point guard eligibility here. Who do you like point guard on FanDuel?
It'll be excuse me, TJ. I've got this cough today for some reason, and it wants to keep harassing me while I'm on the show. But it's going to be some of the same guys. So obviously, when you look at Castle, he's definitely got 7,500 TJ that you want to get involved with. I think when you look at Dylan Harper at 4,800, really good projection on him. Jalen Brunson, I want to keep hammering this one home, TJ. I am very interested in Jalen Brunson, okay? Like, I want to make that very clear, despite all of the other value plays. Same thing for Jamal Murray. I know Jamal Murray's a bit expensive than probably what we've been used to. Like, I feel like, TJ, in our heads, we've been paying somewhere between 75 and 78 for Jamal Murray consistently over the past few seasons. But what he's done this year has been really good. Like him at 8,700, don't mind it.
It's so nice to see him back to be looking like his legit self.
Yeah.
Like in the Olympics, I was watching a ton of Canada basketball, and he just looked so bad. He had no lift whatsoever. It genuinely looked like his feet couldn't get off the ground on his jump shot, on everything. And then all of last year, he was battling some injuries, but he just didn't look good. This year looks like Jamal Murray again. This year looks like a guy who is a threat for 50 points on any given night.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And that's why I like him because, TJ, I'm so sorry, everybody. There's real value in understanding ownership sentiment, right, TJ? And so sometimes we hold on to narratives that don't exist anymore. Like, as an example, if you don't really look at the numbers, like a team that you're used to playing with high pace could now be middle of the road or below where they were or have been historically. And a team that's historically been a heavy defensive team could turn a corner and now have a different philosophy because maybe they changed a few coaches and, they changed some personnel and now they want to play a different style. So I'm saying that because, ownership sentiment sometimes will influence that. And look, Jamal Murray is absolutely being projected for some ownership tonight. So I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying, but he's also a guy that I think over the past, like you said, TJ, because of the situation, we weren't seeing 58 fantasy points, 65 fantasy points, 55 fantasy points, 72 fantasy points. Like, we weren't seeing some of those performances anymore. And as a result, early on, I think we were just hesitant to roster him. But clearly right now, I mean, this is a guy that is playing really well. So I'll get off my Jamal Murray train. I'm talking about Castle, Jamal Murray. I'm okay with Trae Young. Once again, I do want to continue to mention, I do like Jalen Brunson. And then if you go and you want to just get some value, Dylan Harper is fantastic on FanDuel and DraftKings, but we're talking about FanDuel at 4,800. You can get him at point guard or shooting guard.
I do really like both Harper and Castle in this spot a ton. We also just got news that Giannis Antetokounmpo is in, as is Aaron Nesmith for Indiana. Gary Trent for Milwaukee has been ruled out. Also, a shout out to Absolute Power 7968 in chat because I missed this, but Mark Williams, although they said he is available to play, he is not starting. Oso Ighodaro is starting today for Phoenix. I don't think Mark Williams was going to play a ton of minutes anyway, so I don't think that means he's going to end up being scratched or anything like that. And Ighodaro, I think, would have been a lot more interesting before the Şengün news. But with the Şengün news, I still don't think a starting Ighodaro matters that much. If Williams was out and we were going to get 30-plus minutes from Ighodaro, that might be different. But I kind of feel like it's still going to be a pretty even split here with Williams still playing, in the 25-minute range like he had before. So we will see. But I don't think I'm personally going to get a ton of Ighodaro in this spot. What are your thoughts on that situation with Mark Williams not starting, Will?
My assumption is he's not playing, which I thought he was going to be
out. He did say he was available to play as of like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm just not counting on it. I did think, and I think it's just injury management, TJ, for what it's worth. And I think we all understand that. So I'm going to proceed as if Mark Williams is not seeing the floor tonight. But that's the way I'm going to approach it, and roll it from there. So I mean,
does that make you interested in Ighodaro then?
Slightly. I think there's a sprinkle. Like, by sprinkle, I mean if the field gets up to 10%, then I want to sprinkle more, like maybe 15 or so. But I'm not going crazy for Oso like I would be for Steven Adams.
That's how I feel too. I'm going to add him to my pool, but not somebody that I expect to get an absolute ton of this spot. But we'll see when his projection did already update. That was fast. Look at these guys. 22.54 fantasy points. So not as good as Steven Adams, but certainly a viable value play today at $3,500 on DraftKings. I'm right with you there on point guard on FanDuel. I think Brunson's my favorite spend up, but Harper, Castle are both incredible. I'm going to be light on the Phoenix players. Gillespie and Booker, not quite that high on them. Don't mind Tyler Kolek. I like the Jamal Murray call. Isaiah Collier is more expensive there, but I think it's still somewhat viable. I would rather play his teammate, though, on FanDuel. Keontae George, I think, is a really strong tournament play because I think he's going to be virtually unowned tonight, and he's just been absolutely balling out recently. Yeah. Shooting guard spot, Will. A lot of the same names, but who else do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, you can throw in Sensabaugh here. Obviously, Castle and Harper. You can throw in Pele Larson here, even though he's not as cheap. Norman Powell's a little bit more expensive, but I kind of don't care, TJ. So I want to mention that. If you want to play Jamal Murray in this spot, you can. It is fine. Benedict Mathurin is a little bit cheaper, or a lot cheaper, I should say, TJ, on FanDuel than is on DraftKings, where DK he's $7K, I think, and on FanDuel 6,200. So if you like Benedict Mathurin, FanDuel I think is absolutely the spot to play him today. That's mostly it though, TJ. I'm not really thrilled about it outside of the value pieces and a couple of these guys up top. I probably like.
I made a joke at the beginning of the show that I was siphoning your energy, and I literally think it happened. To start the show, I was yawning and you were fired up. Now I feel fired up as you're yawning. So I think it literally worked. I stole your energy from you.
Well, I like Devin Booker, but I don't like him as much on FanDuel. I play him on DraftKings where he's in the 8K range for what it's worth.
I like it. Norman Powell is one of my favorite plays on the slate, so I like that call from you a lot. Powell, Castle, Harper are really going to be the guys that I'm focusing on today at that position on FanDuel. Mario Donese asking in chat, can we add some showdown questions before the show is over? Absolutely. We are all the way like halfway through the FanDuel positions. We still got 20 minutes to lock, and so should have a lot of time to go through your questions here. Get them in the live stream chat, get them in the YouTube chat, whether they're about basketball, they can be about your season-long football league, they can be about the showdown slate still coming tonight between Baltimore and Green Bay. No problem at all. All we ask is you hit that like button for some free content on a Saturday. Will, small forward position, who do you like?
Making sure I unmute myself, TJ. Don't want to get caught. Boy, I want to play Jalen Johnson, but boy, I don't think I can do it today when he's 11K, TJ. Because I think there are other better spins on this slate tonight. Lauri Markkanen, I think, is a better spin. Obviously, I'll play Norman Powell as well. I don't mind a sprinkle of Jabari Smith just because I know he's not going to get as much ownership as some of these other cheaper guys, TJ. Like Tari Eason's 4,800 at small forward. You can get him there or power forward on FanDuel. I like him there. Devin Vassell. You can get him at small forward or shooting guard. Champagny, another one. Like these are just guys that you can get to. Norman Powell is my favorite though. I'm okay. Once again, I'm not thrilled about Kevin Durant, but if you decide you want to play him because of the Şengün situation, I'm good there. Still fine with Lauri Markkanen. Don't mind Benedict Mathurin. Those are the main guys for me.
I never love OG Anunoby chalk. Like, just as he kind of just feels like a guy that you never really know for sure when he's going to get it done. Like, he's not a primary option. He's the guy who knocks down threes or gets back cuts or racks up a bunch of defensive stats. I don't really know how I feel about a chalky OG Anunoby today, but I do really like Sensabaugh. Norman Powell is high on my list, as is Andrew Wiggins and Tari Eason. I wonder if we get a little, if I do a refresh here, if we get Tari Eason's optimal percentage going up, because that news is still pretty new for SimLabs, and so we might not have that updated yet, but we will see. Let's go over to small forward, hit optimal. Doesn't look like Eason's has gone up yet, but that was 20% optimal rate before the Şengün news, if I'm not mistaken. And so Eason is, I think, going to be by far my favorite guy at that position. Don't mind some Julian Champagny, and then as a lower owned spend up, Lauri Markkanen, Paolo Banchero, Kevin Durant, all of those guys look pretty interesting if you're playing a bunch of lineups today. Power forward position, Will. Obviously, we can still play OG here. I want to be underweight to that 40%. Who do you like at power forward?
Yeah, so I talked about these expensive guys, man. I just so Wimby's 11-1 on FanDuel, but blocks and steals do count for a little bit more. Our projection says 27 minutes. I'm willing to risk it and push it to 30, but he's still probably a little bit too expensive. Same thing for Jalen Johnson here. Somebody who I don't think is too expensive is going to be our good friend TJ Karl-Anthony Towns, so we can get at power forward at 8,600. So I like him quite a bit. Still like Lauri Markkanen. I'm okay with Pascal Siakam here. Those are some of the guys that I like on the upper end, if you will. And then on the cheap end, obviously, we talked about Tari Eason at 4,800. I'm not in the OG tonight, just like you, TJ. So hopefully we're right about that. And I'm still okay with playing Mr. Ware at power forward at 7,100, just because I think the opportunity will be there.
Like that call as well. I'm very big on Khalil Ware today. He's more expensive on FanDuel, but with that power forward eligibility, I just want to get to a ton of him, even where he does have that pricier tag. Ware is going to be one of my favorites, as are Wiggins and Eason, who I've already talked about. I don't really like Royce O'Neal, OG Anunoby, like we've talked about. Those are two guys that I am perfectly comfortable getting underweight to. Peyton Watson is a good point per dollar play, but I would just rather play him on DraftKings where he has much lower ownership. We did have a question in chat from Alan. Any love for the Magic players? And I bring this up here because of a guy like Banchero. I didn't like them earlier in the day when they were projecting for a lot of ownership. I don't think anybody's playing the Magic anymore. They were projecting really good before the value opened up, but we've kind of had Suggs already out in the projections since this morning. And so I think they've kind of fallen out of favor with all this other stuff that has opened up. So not my main targets in cash games or anything like that, but still players I really like for large field tournaments tonight. We did just get news that Tari Eason will be on a 25-minute limit tonight. He can still do a ton of damage in 25 minutes. He was only, let's see what we had him projected for at this point, 27. And so that will be a bump down for Tari Eason at only 25 minutes. It brought him from 29 fantasy points to 26.9. So still a very good play for the price tag, but Tari Eason no longer like the best value play. He falls down a little bit. Still very good, but not as aggressively good with that 25 minutes limit. Certainly capped his ceiling a little bit. Center position, Will. Let me do another refresh quick here, see if we can get Steven Adams added to this. But it does take SimLabs a little bit longer than the projections because the projections have to update first for SimLabs to be able to update. Who do you like? Obviously, we talked about Khalil Ware as a somebody we're a big fan of, and then I think Steven Adams becomes a cash game play now. But who else do you like at the center position?
Yeah, don't mind Adams. Don't obviously like Ware. Still, I keep talking about it. I do like Karl-Anthony Towns quite a bit tonight. I think he's a good play. I'm not going to come off of Jokic. I think Jokic is the safest spend up on FanDuel, even though he's 12-8. I think he's the safest spend up tonight in terms of, upper echelon. Like Wemby's 11-1, Jalen Johnson's 11K, Giannis is 10K just coming back. So, by default, I think Jokic is the guy. And I feel like his ownership may take a hit a little bit because of all these other options. TJ, I do think there's a path where you can go balance and just play guys like Ware, Towns, Norman Powell, like Castle. I think there's a path where you can spread it out, right? But if you're not going to spread it out, I think Jokic is the guy.
All right. I couldn't agree more. I still think it's somewhat viable to get to a Wemby or something like that here, but Jokic is my favorite spend up on FanDuel. Also, Steven Adams all the way down, Khalil Ware in the mid tier. Nothing wrong with the Karl-Anthony Towns. I like that one. Nothing wrong with the Nurkic if you want to go there. Super large field stuff. I think Derek Queen is totally fine. And then I am getting to a couple Capella lineups just as not on FanDuel, but I think I would if I were running 150 there as well. Just as something to get a little bit different. Say if Steven Adams gets into some foul trouble and if they need to go more Capella, since Cleveland is a fairly big team, we know that he is a very good fantasy point per minute contributor. Will, we've gone through the position by position. We're going to get to the questions shortly. But before that, I want to know, who do you got as your slate breaking play tonight with this 8 minute with an 8-game slate we got?
Man, it's very strange, TJ. We got a couple big games here. I think mentally it's got to be someone from the Spurs, right? My mind is telling me it's someone from the Spurs, TJ. My heart is telling me it's someone from the Knicks. Give me Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson, good call. I have no problem with that whatsoever. My third highest owned point guard on the slate. I'm going with Khalil Ware. Like, he is going to be fairly chalky for sure, but this is a slate with a lot of chalky plays, and I think his ownership will go down with this Steven Adams news. Now that we have the salary to play Wemby, we have the salary to play Jokic. I do think, although still popular, Khalil Ware's ownership is going to go down a fair amount. He is my favorite play on the slate. He is my highest owned play on the slate. Khalil Ware is my guy today. Let's start taking some questions. I will go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. I will go to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, all we ask is that you smash that like button for us. You got questions about NBA, NFL, we got you. No problem at all. Just get them in. DK single entry. Who do you want? Jovic and Jokic or Wiggins and Wemby?
Wiggins and Wemby on DK.
I think that is where I would go as well. TJ, do you still like Wemby on FanDuel? If I were playing 150, I would get some Wemby. Probably not in a 3-inch, definitely not in a 3-entry max, in the 20 range potentially. I'd get to him on like 1, but more of a DraftKings play for me. They are so close in projections, price not considered. Could you give me a preference? Raw fantasy points, Stephon Castle or Amen Thompson? Who do you got?
Give me Castle.
Castle for me as well. Amen, a very good play today, but Castle kind of in his own tier of upside for me with no De'Aaron Fox. I really, really like him today. Let's see. Next one we got Eason and Wemby or Norman Powell and Siakam.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think because of the minutes, give me Powell Siakam.
Powell Siakam, I would for sure say has a higher floor too.
Yeah.
Ethan Wemby kind of feels like that could get you 60 points combined with the two of them or 120. You know what I mean? Like that one's a lot more volatile. Last piece, Jordan Goodwin or Pele Larson, small field single entry.
Ooh, I think either's fine. I don't mind Goodwin. He has been playing a little bit. But give me Larson in this game against the Pacers.
Who are the top value plays on DraftKings? I would say Dylan Harper, Isaiah Collier, Steven Adams, probably the top 3 for me. Value plays today. I also like Bryce Sensabaugh. If he's cheap enough to be considered that, I like Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, Tari Eason as my top values today. Is there anybody else you'd want to touch on I didn't mention?
I think you could probably throw an off there because isn't he 3,500 on DK?
Who, sorry?
Osh.
Oh, Oso.
Yeah. I said Osh. My goodness.
Yeah, I think he is definitely in play as well.
Oh, I put his first name and his last name together and gave him a nickname. I called him Osh. It's Oso-ish. Ish would have been the correct way to say it. Osh, Kosh, Bigosh. Those are
Osh, Kosh, Bigosh. How do you feel about Zion getting 28 minutes last game? He's still not somebody in my pool. I need 30 plus minutes of Zion to get to him.
Yeah, no Zion for me.
Favorite captain for DK, Malik Willis, Tyler Huntley, or a receiver, or do you punt with Musgrave? Have you looked at tonight's NFL slate at all, Chief?
I'm not playing any NFL today because when I leave out of here, I'm going to eat some dinner with my friends that I haven't hung out with because of basketball season. Me and my wife, some of our best friends, our couple friends that we go and usually eat dinner with at least, once a month or once every other. We just haven't been able to do it because I've been extremely busy. So I'm not playing football today. I will be tomorrow.
Malik Willis is that guy for me. I am all aboard the Malik Willis train tonight. I think he is underpriced for how strong of a running quarterback he is, and I really like this spot for him. Malik Willis is my guy. Let's see. Why is Harper's minutes projection so high? Because De'Aaron Fox is out. How do you feel about Darius Garland tonight, Chief?
It's okay. He's not at the top of my list, but like if you decide you want to play him, he's not overly expensive. So yeah.
Neesmith in a FanDuel GPP. No, first game back from injury. Neesmith is not somebody that I considered at all today. How about you?
No.
Let me see. I know 5K. I thought maybe if they mispriced him and he was like 3,500 or something, then yeah, absolutely. But no, not any Neesmith for me today. Do you think Wemby is too expensive on FanDuel at 5,700? Probably. That is getting to the range where you don't really need it. FanDuel is typically priced pretty similar to Yahoo. Like their ratios are usually fairly similar. And so definitely not a priority. But for large field GPPs, sure, why not? Nothing wrong with trying that out today. What do you think about Igor Denham, the Brooklyn guard, as a salary saver today?
Not doing it. I mean, he's had some okay games. I'm not saying he's a bad play, but I'm not doing it. But that's me personally. I think so. Let me just say this. I think whoever's asking about Denham, if you feel like Denham's your guy tonight, Denham's had over 30 fantasy points in a few of these games. Like, roll him out there. It's perfectly fine. It's just not a choice for me today.
Those last two guys, Denham I think it's Demon and Garland, that we talked about, they are the two lowest owned plays I have that are in my pool. They are in my pool, but they're the two lowest owned plays I got. I got Garland in 3 of 150, and I have Demon in 4 of 150. $5,600 or less. You need a guard on DraftKings. Who are you going to at that price tag?
Man, I think you got some options. Like Harper's going to be in that pool.
If you're not looking to leave the money on the table with Harper, or you already have him, I think Jaime Jaquez is that
guy. It's Jaquez. Jaquez was the first person that came to mind, but I was trying to think about other guys that like would leave some money for you to work with. But yeah, I mean, obviously Jaquez.
FanDuel, you want Markkanen or Siakam tonight? I like both of those options, but which one do you?
I'm gonna go Siakam because Markkanen played 44 minutes last night, 38 minutes, excuse me. But that's my tiebreaker. I like them both. I like the spot for both, but give me Siakam.
4 minutes left to lock. Get your lineups in. Chief, what do you think about Nembhard with no McConnell tonight?
I think it's fine.
We are low on questions here with a few minutes left, so get your questions in if you got them. NFL, NBA, what's for dinner tonight, what have you. We got you covered, whether it's Showdown for Saturday, whether it's NFL main slate tomorrow, whether you're in the championship for your season-long league, we can help you out as well. Or, of course, for basketball, since that is the show that we are on as well. Get those QQs in. FanDuel GPP, you want Wiggins or Jaquez?
Man, that's a good question. Give me Wiggins.
I like Wiggins there too. Jaquez just never seems to quite get enough. Like, I do like him on the slate, but he doesn't quite seem to get enough minutes ever to hit a true ceiling game, even when they have these guys out. And so I do like him to get 30 to 40 DK points today, but I feel like Wiggins is more likely to hit a big ceiling game out of those two guys. What is your point prediction for Wembanyama on DK tonight? What do you think Wemby at 10K on DK drops?
If we get 30 minutes, I think he's in the 60s. Give me 65 fantasy points. If we get 28 minutes, give me 54.
That's the range I like him in tonight as well. We have him projected at 47.38 points in our projections. So again, this is a tournament play, not a cash game today. Chief and I both really like Wemby for DK tournaments, but not somebody that you're looking at in a cash game. Kolek or Sensabaugh tonight, Chief?
Ooh, good question. The correct answer is probably build a sign up and swap them both. The incorrect answer is probably Sensabaugh by himself, no Kolek at all. But I think I'm not trying to not answer it, but if that's your question, they're both pretty much the same price. Build the same lineup twice and just swap them.
Of the two, I give a slight edge to Sensabaugh, but like you said, it's a pretty close to a coin flip there. As is DK last piece, Sensabaugh or Champagny. I would go Sensabaugh of the two, but truly, it's pretty darn close to a coin flip. DK GPP, you got Eason or Clarkson?
I'm still going Eason here because while Jordan Clarkson may have these splash games, TJ, we can't count on Jordan Clarkson to have some consistency right now.
So with the caveat of knowing you are not playing this football slate today, but in general, if you were to play one receiver from Green Bay, who do you feel most comfortable playing of that receiving core for the Packers?
With them playing Baltimore, man, it's really weird with that receiving team because now they don't have Jordan Love.
Which I learned while reading Rich Rebar of the Pick Six Show, his article over at Sharp Football Analysis, that actually drastically changes their who runs the most routes when it goes from Love to Willis.
Yeah. In my head it's Dobbs, but
Dobbs was running the most routes. This is what I was thinking initially as well. And then I found out Dobbs was running the most routes with Jordan Love last game. And then when Willis went in, it actually totally flipped with Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed becomes the receiver running the most routes with Malik Willis under center. And Dobbs dropped all the way to like 46% from being in the 80s range. So it was Reed 1, then Christian Watson at 70%, and then Dobbs at third. And so Jaden Reed and kind of I think he was speculating that it was potentially due to the RPO and just the way they run that offense with Willis versus Reed. But Reed actually becomes the guy that runs the most routes for the Packers with Malik Willis under center. So that's my guy that I'm taking a really heavy stand on.
Let's do it.
I like him a lot tonight in tournaments. And that seems like we have hit all the questions. We are coming up until lock here right now. Travis Duarte bringing up nobody talking about Bobby Portis versus the Bulls. It is some revenge, but we got Giannis back. And so with Giannis back, I don't think I can be getting to Bobby Portis in this spot. That'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone. Good luck in all of your contests. We will see you tomorrow for some more football starting bright and early, 9:30 a.m. And then Chief and I will be taking you up to lock with crunch time at 12:15 p.m. So stay tuned for that as well. On behalf of myself and Will, we will see you next time. Peace.